After this game, I think the Persona series is slowly becoming one of my favorite game franchises of all time. This is Persona 5 Strikers. Don't go away. I usually start this part of the video with a soundtrack and slowly fade into me and start to talk about the game intro and stuff. But I just want to say, Persona 5 is back!
It's not a game, I'm not a robot, and I'm challenging you. I'm not a phantom, I'm in your face, and I'm here to see it through.
Persona 5 generally was one of the best games I've ever played of all time, and not even just as a game. One of my best life experiences was those few months I played through Persona 5. So no surprise that only a few months after I finished Persona 5, I've got my hands on Persona 5 Strikers, and the only thing I know about it, it's a spin-off. And I feel bad saying it's a spin-off because this is definitely more like Persona 5 Part 2. And that's kind of exactly what I wanted. The only other thing I knew is that it's changing from turn-based combat to a 1v100 action fighter, of which I've never played a game really similar to this. And after beating the entire game, I can safely say that the one word that sticks out for me for Persona 5 Strikers gameplay is badass. Strikers has a decently sized skill ceiling. Once you get great at this game, you feel really good about your gameplay. Whether it's perfect combos, perfect dodges,
that was a sick dodge. No way. Holy.
Just that high action, weak point hitting kind of combat that the clock beside you will run fast. The affinities from Persona 5 like nuclear and psi and fire and ice and wind and stuff like that, they're now AoE attacks. Clicking square and triangle will initiate physical attack, but holding down the R1 button will open up the menu for your persona. And this is exactly like Persona 5. It was definitely weird to get used to, and even like deep into the game, like 30-40 hour mark, when gearing it for boss fights, in my mind, I'm thinking I'm ready for this turn-based combat. But then you get into the match and it's like, oh yeah. You also have your strong attacks, your cutscene attacks. Chipping away at an enemy's weak point will initiate an all-out attack. And although these cutscenes aren't as catchy as the all-out attacks in Persona 5, I think these are still pretty damn good. Not this time, buddy. But I do like what the game calls showtime even more. It's what I would describe as a charge bar on the side of a character. Each character gets their own. Once charged, you activate showtime. These are really cool looking. Go down.
If there's a fire, I'll be there to feed you. So nothing left to fix it to swing it. It's a dull blade, worthless again.
That time with the music so. Shit. How about we just really drop bombs?
Such beauty. Go down. Pull.
Now, physically fighting when you're not using your persona, the combos are pretty similar across all playable characters. That is a pro and a con. It's a con because you get less variety, but it's a pro because you don't have to spend a lot of time figuring out like 8 or 9 different characters' abilities. And yes, you heard me right there, different playable characters. In Persona 5, you're always playing as Joker. You can take turns as other characters, but you're never really playing as them. Here, you can run around levels and jails in the metaverse as whoever you want. And it was weirdly one of the coolest things to me. Now, Persona 5 had 2 completely different sides to the gameplay. Social simulation on one hand, and palace exploration combat on the other. Here, you have your 1v100 combat, and on the other side, you don't have social simulation. You have social cutscenes, more like it. Is this bad? No. You cannot individually raise bonds with your teammates, but you can raise your bond as a whole. Raising this bond level grants you points to allocate into specific areas. Basic things like upgrade strength, magic, endurance, luck, bonus showtime damage, the list goes on. Now, while fighting in the metaverse does level up your bond bar a little bit, the majority of your bond points will come from the story naturally, but you'll find a huge amount of opportunities to raise it optionally.
Interesting.
Hee-ho!
When you're not fighting in the metaverse, you're doing exactly what I would want out of a Persona 5 sequel. Hanging out with the characters you got to know and love. The story goes like this for Strikers. It's 6 months after the events of Persona 5, and there's been some rumblings in the metaverse. Some hearts may be changing around, and it's not the Phantom Thieves doing. In order to clear their name, they clear this jail, which is a fancy word for palace. But that doesn't really clear their name, because there are a lot of heart changes all over Japan. So, road trip time. Yes, when you're not fighting in the metaverse, you are traveling around Japan, eating food.
With dots of green onion and dashes of red ginger. These three colors combine to form an exquisite harmony in my bowl. I dare not take another sip, lest this masterpiece be ruined.
Your masterpiece is gonna get cold. Oh, I gotta say.
Now, throughout the story, you will get a couple more Phantom Thieves to your group, and initially it's kind of tough because I spent, 110 hours on Persona 5 Vanilla, and it's like, okay, we got some newcomers coming along. Might be a tough fit. But I realized quickly, really early on, like within a few 30 seconds, that Atlas really knows how to cook with their characters. Because new additions like Zenkichi and Sophie, I mean, it would be weird to have, like, say, another Persona 5 sequel without these two characters, honestly. A person? What the hell?
I am Sophia, humanity's companion.
Humanity's companion?
What is it, Joker? Can I help you? A raccoon?
That's even worse than cat.
Try a cat! Wait, don't try a cat!
What is this? Where am I?
Questions. This is a jail. You are currently located within a jail.
He's gonna be like, who the fuck are you?
Wait, who are you?
I am Sophie.
Presentation. It goes without saying. If you don't know, Atlas does an incredible job with their games visually and auditorily. How they sound, how they look, is not looked past in a single fraction. I feel like I really hit the nail on the head in talking about it in my Persona 5 review. I described that a lot of things that players will look by, like a menu or dialogue, things that usually aren't visually popping in 99% of games. Atlas always does a great job to make those things that you never pay attention to something worth paying attention to. Okay, sick menu. It's just so cool to see menus like this where you have specific interactions with characters in the game in different animations with sound effects. Boop. Oh, there's different sounds. I love the look of the metaverse levels here as well. In Strikers, I feel like there were some levels in Persona 5, like cruise ship or bank, that didn't really like delve into the cognitive world. They really went for it here. The themes are like super drilled in. It's super easy to tell which one's the snow level. There's even a level based off of an in-game fantasy novel, and it really leans into that archetype stuff. It was always just fascinating to see what kind of new theme a level would be. Voice acting, I think, got even better, and I have a theory as to why. I feel like the characters, when voicing all of their voice lines in Persona 5, are there for the job, and now that Persona 5 is released and they've come back for Strikers, people know about the game now. They know how popular they are and important they are. So I feel like the voice actors came back with like some extra guts. So, and I swear I can see that in the dialogue.
Now it's just collecting dust.
Sojiro, that's it! Please go borrow that camper for us, please.
Correct. Would you like to see my source code?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Show me, show me.
Take it down a notch.
Atlas just always has that magic that glues your eyes to the screen, and at the end of the day, it's really just effort and creativity that lets it pop. Like, it's not easy to create all of this visual stunningness. And the other half that keeps you glued on screen is the music. I mean, like, the first, like, 5 hours of the game, I was just, like, popping off because all these old soundtracks that you listen to for so long during Persona 5 come back.
The music so brings me back.
It's been a while since we built this
Oh
Jinja, huh?
yeah.
I need to learn more about the heart and about the Phantom Thieves. Thank you.
Man, the music literally just like one-ups scenes so much.
Thank you for joining, Sophia.
The rest of the soundtracks that do come back have a nice sort of striker spin on them. And you also have a good amount of new soundtracks here that, I mean, one of them might be one of my favorite soundtracks of all time.
New soundtrack.
What is this place? Who are you? I am Sophia.
Overall impact, Persona 5 Strikers. Listen, I knew going to Persona 5, hugely popular game, right? It's Strikers spin-off. It was so much more than I hoped for. You get everything you could ever want out of a Persona 5 sequel here. Well, maybe except for some romance options are missing. I kind of would have liked to romance Makoto one more time. Strikers really does offer you more than you could think. There's a cooking mechanic. You get items for cooking specific things that raise HP and apply buffs, but the real reason why you should do cooking in this game is the bond meter seems to explode when you cook. Like, the most of my bond points at the middle part of the game came from cooking. Much like how I said Mementos was a dark horse for keeping the pacing tight and smooth in Persona 5, I think Requests does the same thing here. Because you're either A, fighting for hours on end in a jail, or B, listening to cutscenes and dialogue for hours on end out of a jail. Or C, you can split the time up in between those by doing requests. These requests could be kill 5 specific enemies with Yusuke off of a specific attack, or just fun quirky stuff.
Welcome. Is that everything?
Mission complete.
Stay safe.
Incredible.
Other small things to note, something I found absolutely hilarious was Lavenza, who runs the Velvet Room, which is where you can customize your persona and do fusion and stuff. She talks about how the main boss here, she's like, oh, there's a dark entity in this world, stronger than the one you fought before. And in the moment, I was like, stronger? You mean stronger than the god? Like this guy that we fought at the end of Persona 5? And the only nitpick I can say for this game, like the actual only nitpick, negative I could say, is when using items, I wish there was a filter, like to filter by item. HP, I just want the HP or SP. There's a lot of items in this game, and a lot of them are like heal 20 HP, heal 30 HP. I'm just looking for my heal 120 HP or revive items. It's a bit of a scroll around and find it thing. But overall, Persona is such a mix of sweet and savory. You get everything out of this game. You get the sick, addictive, badass combat.
Uppercutted justice!
You get time with the characters. There's fun moments.
Were you peeping?
There's intense moments. There's hair-raising moments. There's moments that literally gave me goosebumps in this game.
Strong enough to choose my own path.
Can you wield that strength? Dare you unleash catastrophe upon this world? Thou art I. My name is...
By nature, Persona 5 Strikers just doesn't reach the level that Persona 5 did, but I wasn't expecting it all to.
Bro, this guy, I'm literally popping off right now.
But it still impressed me every step of the way.
Oh my god, that might be the sickest dodge I've ever seen in a fucking video game, man. Holy shit.
Overall score, 9.3 out of 10. So that's it. Persona 5 Strikers. I have this feeling. Listen, I know this Persona 5 Tactica. That is a real spin-off as far as I'm concerned. This was definitely more Persona 5 Part 2. But I have a feeling, because I still have Persona 3 Reload, Persona 4 Golden, Persona 6 is probably coming up, and Persona 5 Tactica. And yeah, I got a feeling at the end of all those games, Persona is going to rival as one of the best franchises I've ever played. For now, I'm your host, Slaver Planet Entertainment. Hope you enjoyed this review. Peace out.
Whoa, where'd he go? What the?
Just stay calm and don't panic.
It's a boss? What am I ever gonna do? Oh, that's right! I forgot! I own a god!
What is up? I know what you're thinking. You're only here for the bonus Easter egg soundtrack I put in at the end of every video. But did you also know I have a donation page under Buy Me a Coffee? Donate whatever you want to my channel and I'll put half of that back to an environmental charity. So that's that. Enjoy the music. Peace out.